It's day 2 of the Toronto International Film Festival. You ready for this? My name's Tom Powers. I'm the documentary programmer of the festival. I want to acknowledge that today's event is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work in this community. I want to remind you this film is eligible for the Grolsch People's Choice Award and the Grolsch People's Choice Documentary Award. You can vote for the film at tiff.net/vote. It's tiff.net/vote. I want to thank Imagine Documentaries for providing us with this film. You are the first audience in the world to see DADS. And at a film festival, one of the questions that gets asked is, who's the audience for this film? Well, I would say the audience for this film is anyone who has a father. So how many people in the audience have a father? Okay, I think we're doing good on this. So the filmmaker, Bryce Dallas Howard, has a career as an actress, but this is her first feature-length film. You only get one chance in your life to show your first film to its first audience. Please welcome Bryce Dallas Howard.
Hey, y'all. Oh my goodness. Tom, thank you so much for inviting us to this festival. You have no idea how much it means to me and everyone who worked so hard on this movie. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'm nervous. I'm excited and I'm nervous and I'm grateful to all of you and to everyone who worked on this project. And we finished editing like last week, so I hope you enjoy. So yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Cool.
So I'll remind you to turn off your phones. After the film, Bryce will be back to talk about the film for a Q&A. Here's DADS.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh, thank you. My goodness. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This means so much to me. You have no idea. Thank you. Mom, look, you see? This is my mom. This is my mom. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. You have no idea. We're doing a Q&A, right?
We'll do that.
Okay, cool.
Let me ask by starting you, what got you started on this project? Why did you want to make a film about dads?
Oh my gosh. Well, I've obviously been very privileged in my life to have not only a great father, but a remarkable grandfather, and now my brother is an incredible father, and my husband is an incredible father, and I just wanted to celebrate that, And I've thought about that for a while. And then about a year ago, there's this incredible place that it's called I'm going to pronounce this wrong, the Promundo Institute in Brazil. And they do a lot of remarkable work around gender stereotypes, masculinity, toxic masculinity, and specifically around the stigma of fathers caregiving. And the folks who paid for this movie, Unilever, had a partnership with this institute, and so I met with them about a year ago. They wanted to do a project about fatherhood, and then I literally pitched this in the room. But I didn't know my brother was going to have a kid. The whole time I was like, we need an expecting father. Like, we've got to get someone before it happens, because also, there's no rite of passage for men. Like, we get baby showers and stuff like that as women, and that's great, and please do celebrate us because it's really hard to give birth. but there's no rite of passage for men, and they have just as much a responsibility as the women, and they want to be just as much as involved as the women. Maybe not everybody, but honestly, I think the narrative that we've been taught about men and how they feel about fathering is completely incorrect, especially now. Totally incorrect. And actually the Promundo Institute has done a lot of research around that. So I started this about a year ago with the intention of filming fathers around the world, and then also just everything that I like to watch in a theater. Like, I don't really go to the theater unless it's a comedy. That's just the truth. I just don't. And because I want to laugh with people, you know. And so that's kind of, that's how I thought of the comedians. And so that's a very long answer.
So you really embarked in earnest on it a year ago, but you had interviewed your grandfather before. What was that for?
Yeah, so I've been kind of secretly directing for the last 15 years or so, just trying to just every year, just trying to learn and grow, and it's been incredibly exciting and wonderful. And one of the projects that I got to do was a piece for Vanity Fair, and Justin Wilkes, who's our extraordinary producer on this, he actually produced that. So I've worked with him several times, and it was a piece for Vanity Fair about the 1960s. And so I invited my granddad, and I had thought about and started working on kind of getting his stories, wanting to get his voice on tape, like just it's my grandfather. And so we had that footage, and then when the whole thing happened with my brother, I was like, my dad the whole time was like, please do not put us in this movie, Bryce. Like, just don't do that. And
what does he know about movie making?
Nothing. No, I mean it's I understood. I mean, I understand, but I didn't listen. And then when my brother was gonna have a baby, I was like, okay, well, that decision was made just for us. And so I went back and looked at my grandfather's interview, and that was incredible. It was actually our editor, Andrew Morielli. Hello, wonderful, incredible person, who put that together and edited it, and I didn't even know what he was gonna pull. I didn't even remember the interview very much. It was in 2013. And when I saw it the first time, it was like crazy.
When you had the opportunity to interview your own father, did it give you a chance to ask him a question that you might not have been able to ask before, thought to ask before?
Well, I think we talk a lot in our family. So it's getting to have these interviews with my family members. It was really fun because it was one-on-one time. And for instance, I'm one of 4 kids, as you saw. And so I like one-on-one time with my dad. I'm like, yay, it's just me, And so I enjoyed it for that reason. But there was a lot that we had talked about up until that point. I mean, my dad has said many, 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 many times that he feels that he was the recipient of his father's genius. And my grandfather was an awesome actor, an even better teacher, and he really passed it on to my dad. But way more than that, as you saw, he was just like a next level father. So, yeah, sorry. So, it's... So it was great to talk to him about it. It was great to get to talk about Granddad and stuff.
Let me take a couple of questions from the audience. If you raise your hand, I'll call on you and repeat the question in right here.
First of all, thank you very much. I lost my father 3 years ago. But how did you come across the characters?
Oh my gosh.
So the question is how you found maybe the non-famous characters in the film.
Yeah, a lot of different ways. This institute in Brazil was obviously, they were incredibly helpful. An associate producer, Dave, where are you? Dave, hi Dave. Dave found Suichi, who we are madly and deeply in love with. And early on in the process, like literally day one, we knew that we had about a year to get this done, and documentaries, you kind of plan to hunker down for, several years because you want to capture gold and you don't want it to be artificial, And so I thought to myself, we're not going to want to be going into all of these people's homes for a very long time extensively, because that's just going to be weird. But what if we reach out to the daddy vlogger community? And they've been filming their kids nonstop in some cases, ever since before smartphones, but since 2007, there's a lot of footage, a lot. And they figured out what works, what's the best stuff. They've edited it together. And so we really diving into those communities and meeting those individuals was a big turning point, because we were able to get all this footage, and it was like, oh my gosh, all this stuff that we didn't shoot at all. So it's very cool.
All right, who's got another question? Let's see, hand up over there. Stand up and so we can hear you. Question is, how would you describe what a dad is after you asked so many other people?
That's a beautiful, thank you for asking me that. I would say, for me, it's very simple. A father is a caregiver. He's a caregiver. That's what a father is. A man may be something different, but a father is a caregiver.
All right. Take one more question. Does a woman have a question? So we've got two men. Yeah, okay, but stand up.
A lot of the film resonates with mothers as well, obviously. What do you think is the difference between a mother and a father?
What do you think is the difference between a mother and a father?
No, that's a great question. And I think a lot of this for me was trying to figure out, okay, what is not only a dad's role, but what do dads think their role is? And I think that's perhaps the one distinction between fathers and mothers, and it has to do with the culture around us and how we're raised and whatnot, and kind of the expectations on women when it comes to caregiving. I think I really want to answer your question. What is the fundamental difference between mothers and fathers? There's too much of a difference. It seems like there's more of a difference than there is. And that's what's not fair about it. And specifically talking about kids, being with their fathers right after the children are born. I mean, I, as a mom, I've got two kids, I did not feel competent. I'm the oldest of four. I was always the person who's like, oh, I'm going to take care of all the little cousins, all that kind of stuff. And when I had my son at 25, I did not know what to do. Guess who did know what to do? My husband. He's not someone who's raised kids. He's not someone who ever took an interest in that, but he instinctually knew how to connect with this baby and care for this baby. And I think it's society that undermines that again and again and again, and makes some fathers lose confidence and feel like they aren't competent. And the best thing for the kid is to rely upon the mother and trust the mother. And that's actually not the best thing for the kid. I mean, research has proven this again and again and again. So, yeah. Thank you for your question. You guys are an amazing audience. I just want to say that. Thank you.
We have to wrap it up here. I want to remind you, you can vote for the film at tiff.net/vote. I hope you get to see a lot more films this week. I want to thank you for coming, and thanks especially to Bryce Dallas Howard.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, so much.